One of the things that Darlington told us was the Miami Dolphins are definitely interested in Joe Burrow. The question is are they interested enough to spend some of their precious draft capital to trade up to get him? And then, of course, my obvious follow-up had to be, well, are they as in on Tua? Are they as they are on Joe Burrow? And he didn't say as much because of the injury concerns. What's your sense of it, of covering him closely? How many teams are really, really in on Tua right now?
Well, look, from everything that I've been told and people that are very close to the situation, the Dolphins have always been interested in Tua, and they're still very much in on him. You know, I think we're in this world where it is just a matter of how much risk do people really want to take, and there's still some of that up in the air right now just due to the injury concerns. And so the Dolphins have asked a lot of questions to the doctors who are very close to this and who will be once again sending out those pictures of another MRI, which will happen on April 10th. And I think at that point, that would have been the date of the combine rechecks, which is a really important time for the doctors of each team to really just see prospects that they have a question about right before the draft. It's the last chance they would have to see. Well, obviously, they're not going to do combine rechecks in Indy. So what will happen is Tua will have an MRI. And at that point, they're really just looking at the hip after a month of activity that's truly athletic activity, making sure it's still okay, making sure there's no cartilage buildup. They don't expect there to be. And then those pictures from that MRI will be sent out to any team that wants to see them. So as it relates to the Dolphins' interest, as it relates to any other team's interest, I think there's still sort of that one more check that's out there, in, I guess, a number of days away from now that will allow some of these teams to kind of say, okay, now we feel this much more comfortable, or maybe we don't feel comfortable. But the one thing, too, that continues to come out of Tua's camp is that the teams who have always been interested remain interested. And one more point along those lines, Will, that I think is important in all this. Remember, they did medically clear Tua at the Combine. And so that was when all of those doctors spent hours looking at him, and he even joked about, that he spent so much time visiting with them, and they really got, their fair share of time to make sure that they felt comfortable. And at that point, he was already medically cleared. They've just taken a very conservative approach in making sure not to overdo it with the athletic activity.
My presumption, Laura, all along has been that Tua will never make it down to number 5 where the Miami Dolphins sit, that somebody, be it the Dolphins or the Chargers, are going to have to trade up probably to number 3 where the Detroit Lions sit to get Tua. But I guess I've just started to waver a little bit lately as I hear, oh, the Dolphins actually like Joe Burrow a lot. Oh, the Chargers may ride with Tyrod Taylor for a while. They may sign Cam Newton. But, of course, there's games before the NFL draft. Of course, every team is going to try to hide their interest. But I wonder if my vision that there's going to be this competition, this let's see who can trade up to number 3 to get Tua, is actually going to take place.
Yeah, it's a great question. I still think that 3 is the flex spot. I still think that's where all the action happens. I fully expect the Bengals to take Joe Burrow at number 1. And the one interesting point that I'd say real fast there is the fact that, the Bengals don't want to give up on Joe Burrow either. Like, I get it. Everybody's got it priced. So maybe if the Dolphins make him an offer somehow that they can't refuse, you can kind of sit there in your mind and think about what would that have to be to try and get Burrow. But I just don't know that the Bengals want to see him, slip out of their grasp. And we've even heard Adam Schefter say multiple times, the Bengals are taking Joe Burrow, put it on the bottom line. And I don't know. I trust Adam Schefter. If he says that, I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. The Ohio ties there, I think, are a big piece of all this, too, that just cannot be ignored. And then I expect Chase Young to go number 2. So it really is, that Detroit pick that really has a lot of leverage because they don't need a quarterback. So that may be where a lot of these teams feel like they need to trade up to try and get Tua. One thing, too, that's important to remember is that Tua's camp is continually every single day that they're doing all of these drills and taking video of what he's doing. They're sending it out to these teams. They're sending out extensive video. I think some people said, well, all that we've seen is that one little video that he tweeted, about a week ago. But that was just him tweeting and having fun. These teams are receiving extensive video there. So I would be shocked if he got all the way to 5. I think if you really want him, you got to go up to 3 and get him. And I believe there will be teams that will do that. I don't know that it's the Dolphins. I think that they're probably one of those teams that are heavily in the mix there. But I really do believe that at least there's going to be enough interest right around the draft that continues to swirl. And as we continue to get more reports out about Tua being healthier and healthier and people feeling good about that, teams are going to say, wait a second, we can't pass up on this generational type talent.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.